Welcome. In front of me I have the MetaQuest 3S, and I wanted to give a bit of a review after using it for just roughly 1 day. And what I have to say about it will be also in comparison to the Quest 3, which I've been using for, since it's been released. So anyway, without further ado, let's just get straight into it. So there's a couple of things that I find like there are actual upgrades over the Quest 3, which is funny considering this is supposed to be a cheaper version. And if not for these lenses, I would actually say that this is an improvement over the Quest 3. So number one, the design right here, it's actually for me more comfortable with the same strap that I was using at home, which was actually a Halo strap, not like this one. It's a very cheap Halo strap. This just came in today for me, which I ordered. But yeah, the comfort-wise, it actually feels like it's sitting more comfortably on my face than the Quest 3. It might be just a placebo effect, I don't know. I am excited about VR, so it could be to do with that. Now, so weight-wise, it feels lighter, even though I don't think it is from what I remember. I will quickly check that info. So, Quest 3S. So I do want to check out quickly the weight. If I can find it. Oh, there we go. So weight-wise, it's actually apparently about the same. A gram difference. So that's unnoticeable, and it means that this is a gram lighter than the Quest 3. In reality, to me, at least when I was wearing it, it felt a bit more in place secure. I don't know why, but it just did for some reason. Another thing that I found, which could be possibly to do with my Quest being completely loaded with data. I only have the 128 gigabyte version, and it looks like from experience, if you load too much data on the Quest, they do slow down. To the point that if you load everything, it just stops responding almost. So it could be that this is basically just having one game right now, but it feels like it's running much better compared to my Quest 3, which is a bit of an oddity considering, again, this is supposed to be a cheaper version. So again, in terms of like the first impression, I feel like this is giving a better impression compared to my Quest 3 right now. So there we go. In terms of the lenses, that is one of the biggest downsides of this headset. The lenses have a bit of a more precise sweet spot compared to the Quest 3, which requires you to put the headset however you like, and it's just gonna look pretty sharp almost at any point. This requires you to kind of, fiddle it around and position it just perfectly so you can have your sweet spot, and from there it looks pretty good. Downside here is also not only with the lenses, which are the frontal ones and have the rings and haloing around them, though it's not as significant as some other headsets. It's also the display, which is a bit lower resolution. And in terms of pixels per degree, we're looking at 20 pixels per degree versus the Quest 3, which has 25. It is a noticeable difference, I do want to point that out. And if you want to have like a super sharp image, you might want to maybe pick up the Quest 3 instead of the 3S. But other than that, I would have to say, if you're looking for a cheap headset as an entry point, this is a fantastic one. And compared to any kind of other headset that I have tested recently, which would have been the Pico 4 Ultra, and also the HTC Vive Vision something, the like $1,000 headset, I would still pick this up over the Vision, which is comical. I would rather have paid like $300, buy a head strap, like a more premium one, for instance, like the H4 from Kiwi, which is a Halo design, which is something that I personally like. So yeah, Halo strap, which would have been like another $100, and at that point I'm looking at $400 and have a much better experience than I would have with the $1,000 Vive Focus. Oh, that was it. So Vision Focus. So yeah, that's kind of how I look at it. It's a fantastic headset as a base entry, even as a not a base entry. This is a great device all in all. Now a couple things that have been changed too, which I noticed while using it. There is no sensor. So when you put it on, you actually need to press the power button because it won't light up. There is no sensor that knows that you have put on the headset, which first I was kind of confused. I was kind of weirded out by this because on my headset I have it turned off and I just do it manually myself as well, as I don't like to cover the sensor and it lighting up the headset for no reason. So I do turn it off, but when I was starting to use this, I was coming with the expectancy that I'm gonna put it on and it's gonna light up, and it didn't. It's fine in my opinion. It's a cost cutting here, which obviously this headset has one of the best price points that you can possibly ask for. And alternatively, or additionally to that, no sensor means a little bit less weight. So it cuts just a smidge off the weight and off the cost, which is, in my opinion, pretty good trade-off. All you really need to do is put on, press the button, and you're good to go. Unlike, for instance, the Quest 3, where you put it on and it automatically turns on. I don't care that much for that, so it's for me, an okay trade back, especially when you can shave off some weight from it and cost. In terms of refresh rate right here, we're looking at 120 Hz refresh rate, so that's basically on par with the Quest 3, not much has changed there. And again, if a game can utilize it, it looks fantastic. In terms of gaming, I've tried the Batman Arkham Shadow. Fantastic experience. The game looks fantastically, runs super smoothly on here, and it's honestly surprising how far standalone in this kind of form factor has gone. This is not a big headset and it can run something like Batman, which looks really good in VR. I do want to point out it's standalone, so not everything will just look super fine compared to like PC, but as a standalone, my goodness, it looks fantastic. And to think that this can be run on something that has about this much thickness, housing basically an entire computer in here, it's pretty good, along with lenses and displays. So that's pretty sweet. And another thing that is sweet when gaming, you can do it in just pitch blackness. You can enter the void and you will be able to play it without much problem. Something that the Quest 3 doesn't have. And what it is these 2 points right here. These are infrared lights, meaning that when you start using the headset, it just kind of shines these LEDs around. You can't see them because they're infrared, so that's an invisible light spectrum to the eye. But what it allows you to do is have full tracking of controllers and hands. And it works stupidly well. Even funny enough, I tried this out. If I turn on the headset, so like, because it doesn't have the sensor, so I can just kind of press the button, it lights up, and these get turned on. I can put my Quest 3 and use it the same way as I can use the Quest 3S, because it's gonna just be illuminating the environment for the headset, so the headset can see at that point. So yeah, I can use it with that kind of trickery. But obviously, you wouldn't be buying another headset so you can light up your Quest 3. But I presume this kind of feature will come to the previous like probably Quest 4, I would assume, as it's a fantastic thing that allows you to use this headset no matter what the light conditions are, and that goes a long way, I have to say. Not having this pop-up show up that you have a low light and fix it, and then the controller just kind of moving like this in single position, it's pretty annoying. Here, it's completely 6DoF tracked, and it works fantastically, no problems there. So yeah, that's a bit of an improvement, I would say, over the Quest 3, which doesn't have that at all. In terms of the pass-through, I feel like it's about the same. It's a little bit more grainy, if you care about that. But all in all, it's pretty good. When it comes down to pass-through, I think Pico 4 Ultra has a bit of a better pass-through. And another thing that the Quest has here that is just a bit weird, and that's also including the Quest 3, I think it's just a limitation of their software for it. When using the pass-through, it has very weird effects on some objects. So when you start to, for instance, I was vibing to the beat and just kind of like wobbling like this, and objects that were, for instance, standing on my coffee table, let's just say a plant, were vibing to the beat. So for instance, the bottom was stationary, but the top was kind of like bouncing up and down, in opposite to what I was doing. So So it was kind of weird effect. And that is something that I noticed with the Quest 3 as well. It also extends to, for instance, peripheral vision. So everything at the very edge of your peripheral vision on the headset is also affected by, if you just like pan around, you will see like this weird layering effect, like it's just extending something. It's a very odd look, and it's something that just looks just weird. Also, actually I haven't checked the hand occlusion. This is also another problem, so let's see that right now, how the Quest occlusion looks like. Or not Quest, the hand. That is much better. Okay, so this is actually an improvement. I haven't checked that before. So if you ever used Quest 3, whenever you have some objects, let's just say again a plant, and you move your hand in front of the camera, it kind of like distorts the whatever is behind it for some reason. Here I don't see that problem, so it's much better. It still does just a little bit, but it's almost unnoticeable when compared to like Quest 3. And I'm pointing that out because what I found is that the Pico 4 Ultra also had a pretty good pass-through. In terms of quality, just sheer like how it looks like, I feel like the Pico has better one. That's just my opinion. I could be completely wrong about this, but to me it looks better and sharper. But this one is also pretty good, and the fact that it doesn't warp that when you're moving your hand in front of it is also pretty good. Unlike the Quest 3, which does it. So yeah, there we go. Controller wise, also I tested those out thoroughly compared to like what I have with the Quest 3. As far as I can tell, they're identical. For instance, battery covers and stuff like that, they fit on these exactly the same. So in terms of the shape and size, they're identical. The only thing that I did notice different is the little plastic black little cover right here. Basically, this entire surface is less grainy. So when you have a light, press it, this light, for instance, you can see it a bit sharper. While on the Quest 3 controller, this black surface is a little bit more grainy and fuzzy. So the light gets kind of diffused a bit more. So it's not as precise, and it just has just a tidbit different kind of finish to it. But apart from the finish, it doesn't feel any kind of different. The grips itself also feel identical. The triggers also, I really like the fact that the triggers right here have this kind of like damped sound. So I'm basically like slamming it right now. So these feel and sound pretty nice, which is something that I want to point out. I did use Rift S, and the trigger was squeaking on me from like very beginning of getting the headset. So that was very annoying. After using the Quest 3 since it's been released, which, like I said, almost the same controllers right here, I haven't had that problem at all. So it seems like yeah, these will be a bit better. Yeah, and size and all that is the same as it was for Quest 3, which obviously means that you can utilize any kind of accessories that have been already made for Quest 3 with your Quest 3S. So battery covers, any kind of wireless charging docks and all that stuff will work with these controllers, which is pretty cool. And obviously means that even though this is a brand new headset, you already have a plethora of accessories that you can get for your headset. Something that when I got my headset, I needed to wait a decent amount till there were some quality accessories for the headset itself, along with the controllers, aka for instance this battery strap from Kiwi Design. So I just ordered this for fitness myself. It's going to be used on my Quest 3, not this one, but this is what I have at work on hand, and I just wanted to talk about it. So headset just came out, and we already have you can get any kind of head strap like this, and the only downside is you just have a little hole punch camera right here for the headphone jack that is on the 3, but that is something that you'll most likely have on almost every one of those. And yeah, it's other than that, I have to say it's pretty cool. Pretty cool that you can get your headset right now and additionally get accessories for it to make it feel more comfortable. And one thing that I do recommend doing is making it more comfortable. You don't want to have your VR headset basically be discomforting to you. It's it's obviously gonna, at least to me, having something that just isn't comfortable when you try to use it, takes away from the experience, and that is something that is going to force you to probably not be interested in VR as much. So I highly recommend, if you're on the fence and trying to actually buy one and just looking at reviews, pick up the cheaper one and get a good head strap. I also recommend possibly going for one that has a battery pack. So this is the K4 Comfort. They also have a K4 Boost, which comes with a battery at the back. And the reason I recommend that is because the headset battery, the Quest 3 and 3S, is pretty bad. So not much has changed right here. They're both just utterly garbage. There is no way of saying it otherwise. So yeah, I highly recommend picking up a head strap that can extend your battery life so you can game longer and also in better comfort. One more thing that I wanted to also add in terms of playing, the headset itself has less cameras as far as I can tell. So we have basically the same kind of setup at the front, just there was a depth sensor in the middle for Quest 3 and obviously lack of these infrared, and then there was more cameras, if I remember correctly, on the sides. Here we have just one pointing down here and one pointing down here, so left and right side, and there is no camera on the top of it whatsoever. I'm pretty sure the Quest 3 has also cameras right here and here, which makes it a bit better for tracking controllers above this position. And they're lacking right here, but the reason I'm pointing that out is because when playing Beat Saber, I honestly didn't feel like they're not getting tracked above me. It was very surprising, considering no cameras right here. There's no way of being tracked above my head, and they were still getting tracked without a problem. So I wasn't missing swipes in Beat Saber whatsoever, which pleasantly surprised. And also, because it's missing two cameras in this case, if I'm correct, that means that there is a lesser strain on the processor, meaning that it can run faster than the Quest 3. Probably not very noticeable difference, but I do want to point it out, as obviously that would be a bit of an improvement. Now, I could also be remembering this correctly. Maybe Quest 3 didn't have cameras right here, and I just remembering this incorrectly, as I never really paid attention to it, but I did look at it this one specifically and noticed that there is no cameras at the top. The headset does track it, no problem. So this basically concludes it. Hopefully you found this video helpful and informative. This is just a one-day experience with the headset, so it's obviously nothing like substantial like some other YouTubers had already for probably like a week or so. And the only comparison I also had was the Quest 3 as well, so that's why I was kind of going back to that and comparing it, as this is something that I've used extensively and looking for a difference between them. But all in all, fantastic headset. Highly recommend picking it up if you're just thinking about getting into VR, and if you're thinking about one of those but you only have limited budget, I recommend going for the cheaper one and picking up the head strap, rather than going for the more expensive and using the torture device that comes with it that you mount to your face. But yeah, so with that said, thanks for watching and hope you enjoyed it. So later.